Welcome to Sustain This, a podcast where we discuss mindful consumption, personal style, and the quest for living a more intentional life. I'm Alyssa, a sustainable stylist.
And I'm Christina, a shopaholic turned minimalist-ish.
And I'm Sina, a color consultant and slow fashion style coach.
Together, we will unpack the nuances of what it really means to be a conscious consumer and find more joy in what we have right now. So grab your tea, your coffee, or whatever floats your boat and join us in the conversation. Let's go! Yay!
Yay!
What's it like to actually quit your corporate job to become a full-time content creator? And how does that change your relationship with your finances, your budget, and your consumption habits? Well, today we're getting all the answers from someone who very recently did just that. Today we're talking to Aleks from Aleks on a Budget. She is wildly popular on TikTok and Instagram. She started sharing her budgeting journey on TikTok and Instagram and blew up, went viral, and decided to take the leap to become a full-time content creator. So she's here chatting with us today, a hot off the press perspective on going from corporate to full-time entrepreneur. So excited for you to hear this episode. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. We have such an exciting episode for you.
Yay!
We have Aleks with us today, Aleks Petrakieva. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, you did a really good job, actually.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Great. So we have Aleks with us today, and we've already done a quick intro about her. So I want to get right into this episode. Aleks, this is a very special day for you.
Yes, it is my first day out of corporate officially. No corporate for me moving forward.
Yay. So you have left your corporate job to become a full-time content creator. So tell us about this. How did you get here? What's the origin story? This is just such a cool day.
All right, sounds good. Honestly, this was something that happened within the last few months that I officially made the decision. Originally, I didn't think I was going to go with the no full-time job direction. However, last year when I started doing social media, my channels were taking off quite rapidly and everything was going really well for me. And what really stuck out specifically was the fact that I absolutely loved doing content creation. And to me, that solidified the fact that I'm supposed to do this full time. And so last year, when we paid off all of our debt and we decided to really put all of our finances together, we decided, hey, let's plan for you to leave your full-time job. And by we, I mean me and my husband. So that way I can just focus on this and give myself the freedom and flexibility to test this out full-time this year. And so at the beginning of the year, I was feeling a little unmotivated with my job, and I found myself really just clocking in, clocking out, not really putting the extra effort in. And I didn't want to do 50-50 in two places. And I felt like that's what I was doing with my corporate job and content creation. And I had to make the decision to do 100%. And so I just kind of made the official decision to just put in my notice and give this year like the year of testing and experimenting and see what could happen with content creation. So I did it. I did it. And here we are.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
I'm
So,
so excited.
and your growth has been so inspiring and just amazing to watch. And I remember probably one of your first videos that just popped off and went viral. So can you talk about that and kind of where you started in your journey and how it sort of evolved and taking you to, I'm in all this debt and I'm just going to share paying it off, to now this is my full-time job?
Yeah, so it really started in December of 2023. I was a little bored of my job. It wasn't creative. I'm a content designer, which means basically I write words for UX experiences. And so it's fine, but it's not very creative. And I remember telling my husband, okay, I have always wanted to do social media. So this year, the upcoming year, 2024, I'm just going to start posting on TikTok because I really like scrolling on there. It was kind of like the platform that I felt comfortable posting, mostly because nobody that I knew was on it. And I felt comfortable that no one's going to see my videos, right? Just strangers.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to post whatever I want on TikTok. And I started posting and things weren't picking up any traction in December. But in January, I just made lunch one day. I sat at the kitchen table and I just started kind of blabbing about why my husband and I live on one salary and we use the other one to pay off debt and invest. And something about that video, just, I don't know if it was my tone or the things I said, kind of triggered people and it went super viral. It went like 5 million views, like within a couple of days. And took that opportunity and like the focus needs to be on this, the fact that my husband and I are paying off debt. So
Mhm.
I became incredibly obsessed over the next 2 weeks just creating content about this, how much we're paying in rent or how much debt we have, what we plan on doing next. And because that one video was going viral, people were coming to my page and every consecutive video was also going viral. And that's when the algorithm on TikTok was a little bit different. Like when you would have a viral video, your other videos would also go viral. That doesn't
Mhm.
happen anymore. I don't know if you have noticed that, but
Yeah, yeah, I've
every
noticed that. They stand alone now, yeah.
Yes, yes. And so my page really took off. I ended up getting around 10,000 followers in a matter of days, and I started monetizing on TikTok right away. And that's just kind of how it took off. That was the one thing that really sparked the start. And, because I was paying off the student loans, people were curious, but they weren't that like, okay, wow, she has a whole lot of debt going on. But the moment I mentioned the car, and I knew this would happen. I remember telling my husband, I'm like, when I shift focus from the student loans to the car, get ready because people are going to have really nasty opinions about this. And I know these videos are going to go viral. And that's exactly what happened. And that's kind of like what took off my page to the next level were the car payment videos.
Why do you think that is? And can you explain for people who aren't familiar with your page, what was it that you think triggered everyone and why was it such a hot topic, do you think?
Yeah, the car specifically was the fact that it was a new car and people in the US have very polarizing opinions about car payments. They either want you to just get a used car if you cannot pay it cash or not have a car at all. And if you get a new car
Yeah.
with a car payment, even though majority of people do have car payments and it's actually pretty normal in the US have a car payment, they see it as you're being irresponsible with money. You should not be buying a car. You should get something used. But there's so many other circumstances to look into when people buy new cars. But my page is about finances and also just me navigating my life in my 30s because my husband and I moved to the US recently. So we're kind of starting life over and trying to figure out money as we go. And I'm just an overshare in general. So I feel like people just know way too much information about my finances. And that's what kind of like brings them to my page.
Wow. So that deeply personal stuff.
Yes, yes. And I have always said that if you plan on creating personal content on social media, you have to overshare in one aspect of your life, whether it's finances, maybe your relationship, maybe your pets, maybe your house. It has to be something. Otherwise, people are not going to like grab onto your channel.
Interesting.
What do you
Yeah.
think really, because you did get a lot of polarizing comments, like when you guys talked about living on one income to aggressively pay off your debt. You talked about, you were like, literally, come with me to make a car payment, and I'm paying extra on my car this month. Like, what do you think was so? Yes, it was polarizing for some people, but I think for others, you really shared a lot of vulnerability and created a lot of relatability and connection. What do you think about that content resonated with people?
Well, I think it's mostly because a lot of Americans do have debt, first of all, but they don't feel comfortable talking about it. And when they hear somebody else sharing that information, I will say, I think now it's a little more normal to share online. I've noticed a lot of people sharing their debt payoff journeys now. But when I started, I don't feel like it was that spread out.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was sharing very personal information about finances, the fact that I was in debt and I was willing to talk about it, and also the fact that we were living way below our means at the time because we live in a studio apartment as well. So that was also the other thing. There were just so many aspects of my lifestyle that half of the people resonated with and were like, okay, I get this. And the other half were like, you're making some really ridiculous decisions and you should not be doing this. How can you live in a studio apartment and have a new car? Those type of
Right,
situations.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nuance.
Yes. And
Oh, yeah.
and with social media, you have 30 seconds to a minute to explain yourself. And so people just grab onto whatever you say in the video. They don't actually go to your page most of the time unless they're a loyal follower. So they don't know all of the nuances. The fact that we live downtown and housing is incredibly expensive. So yes, we live in a studio apartment, but it's so expensive, even the studio. And also with the car, it's a Honda Civic. It's not like, a Bentley that I have. So these are the things that they don't even wait for. They just rage comment in a way.
Right. One thing I think you talk about too is, so you did pay off your car. And I think you talked about how hate comments
Yes.
were the thing that paid off your car.
Yes.
So how did you, so I find that very fascinating in the world of social media, I feel like our community here, we love you guys support us. And I think, it's really about building a place for like-minded people and for your people. And I think that's what any content creator sets out to do. But, when things do go viral, they can kind of end up on the other side of the internet.
They do.
And and that's when you kind of open yourself up to ideas and opinions that maybe you didn't even think of when you posted that content. So, but it's engagement. But
Yes.
it's so, from the content creator side, can you talk about that? Because we love the positivity and that's an amazing part of social media, but the negativity and the toxicity can be quite a lot to deal with.
100%. And I think that TikTok is actually the worst place for this. There's a lot of groupthink because things tend to go viral quickly. I always say that once a video gets to 1 million views, I just stop checking the comments because at
Yeah.
that point it like shifts audiences and it goes into totally negative direction because it finds the people that are going to just comment and comment hate things and people will start arguing with each other in the comments. At that point, it's not even about me. People are just arguing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's engagement, the algorithms push out your video even more. And then more people find you and more people join in the conversation. And that's how videos go viral. It's very, very rare that an incredibly positive video will go viral. Like,
I know. That's the sad part about.
yes. Yes. I would say
Yeah.
out of 10 videos, probably 2 are genuinely positive videos, and most people agree in the comments. But the other 8 are super polarizing opinions, and that's what makes the videos go viral. And on TikTok specifically, you get paid through the Creator Fund, and they pay you based on views.
In the US, we don't get that in Canada. Very sad. So
I have so much to talk about that though, because I will say that I have actually shifted focus out of the creator program. And I think that's a really important topic to talk about with creators because a lot of people stop themselves, people who are not in the US, from creating content. But I will tell you, the money is actually with brand deals. But we can get into that a little bit later and I can share more about that. But with the videos, because they were going so viral, obviously the views were up. And so I would get paid for those videos. So each video would make me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I just used that money immediately to make the next car payment. And then the next car payment video would be an even bigger amount. So then people, would just be like, oh my God, why is your car payment $2,000 a month? They don't even listen to the video. Okay. First of all. And so those videos would go viral and that ultimately paid off my car.
Yeah, that's I just think that's so wild. It's such, because I feel like if you're not prepared, because if you're just posting it, like, especially as you're getting started, because I feel like you went pretty viral pretty quickly. So it's kind of like, I don't know, doesn't it feel like a little bit of a mind where you're kind of like, you're posting and you're sharing and I'm being vulnerable and like, this is information that is quite personal. You're sharing money and it's so transparent. And then you just get all these like kind of comments from that you're mentally, it's very difficult. You're not prepared for that. So I feel like it's really interesting that you were able to sort of flip the script and almost use it to your advantage of how can I turn this into a positive, and how can I keep pushing forward as a creator even though I'm getting this kind of feedback.
Yeah, 100%. Even to this day, I'm just waiting for everything to fall apart. Catastrophic thinking 24/7. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
look,
gonna
yeah,
wake
I hear
up,
you.
all of my accounts are gonna be logged out, and nobody's gonna know who I am, and it's just like the world's going to, fall apart. That I have those type of thoughts all the time. But with social media, I am not so new to social media, and I say this because I used to work as a content marketer, so I do have like the back end knowledge of. I know virality and what it can do.
Mhm.
Did I expect that to happen to me? Absolutely not. Not in my wildest dreams. So when it did start happening, I think the thing that really kept me going was the fact that I had so many positive comments on top of the negative ones, and I
Yeah.
chose to focus on those. There were so many people that were like, hey, you know what? My car payment is also this amount. And I really love that you're paying your car off and you're showing us that it's okay to have a car payment and that we can pay it off. And just understanding the math as well, because a lot of people weren't not understanding just the math portion. And they're like, I can't believe my car loan is at this percentage. I didn't realize I would be paying this much interest. So when I would get those type of comments, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay off this car. I know I will. To me, it's not a big deal if people are going to judge me for it. It doesn't matter. I made this decision with my husband. It's our life, but I'm helping other people. So whatever. I'm just going to post my videos.
Yeah. That's
That's
awesome.
just,
I think yeah, and I think sharing that journey is it's I wish more people would do it because I think debt is still such a taboo subject, and so is money. Like, now that you're debt free, and maybe we could talk about that, like how that whole debt free journey was for you and kind of what you learned from it. But you still share a lot of, you're very open with your salary, and you have a lot of salary transparency. Money being such a taboo topic, like sharing debt and or sharing salary, like how do you get past that, or how do you find comfort in sharing that?
I will say, I feel like because I moved to the US the last 2 years after being out of the US for 10 years, I feel like I'm coming back here and nobody knows me. And I think that's like the thing that allows me to share so much. I gave myself permission to kind of start over. And so sharing this information, to me, it's just numbers at this point. That's how I look at it. I just say, okay, well, this is just numbers. It doesn't define who I am. And maybe living in Europe, this had a little bit of an impact on that because people are not so focused on where you work, what you do, how much money you're making. To me, I just see it as numbers. And I'm incredibly proud of myself of all the accomplishments I have made just by moving to the US and getting a job in tech, that I want to share that stuff. I, I don't mind. And I know there's people who make way more than me. And I know
Mhm.
there's people who make less than me. But we all need to have like some type of a number and a person we can relate to so we can see how we can get to the next level. And if people who make, let's say, $100,000 don't share their information because they're too worried what other people would think of them, yeah, but there's people who will look up to you because you make that amount. So you have to look at it in, I am probably helping someone. There will be people who will be upset at me, who might be jealous of the things I've accomplished, but there's also people who want to get to that level. So why not share? And I will say, there, I am sure I have been underpaid so many times. In fact, I know I have been underpaid so many times
Mhm.
that I need people to share this information because we can all help each other and ask for better, salaries, and even with brand deals, just be able to negotiate. So at the end of the day, I just see it as numbers. I'm like, it doesn't define who I am. Like tomorrow I could lose everything, but I'm still myself. So whatever.
Yeah, I think it's especially inspiring to see a woman share that and be so transparent, because I think, yeah, like the more I've always felt a little, I was very open about sharing my debt, but I'm a little like still iffy about sharing my income. But I don't know, you're inspiring me to maybe just be a bit more open about that, because I think it's important to see the potential of what you can earn and what other people are doing, so that you're kind of more in a growth mindset and just being like, oh, maybe I can go for more. Maybe I can, like, what can I do differently and do better? that are for yourself, to reach your financial goals. Because I think one thing, maybe both of us have in common with our own debt repayment journeys is like one of the main things to achieve that was to increase your income, right?
100%.
We talk a lot about cutting things, and especially now in this, big stock market crash or whatever potential happening this morning, like literally right now in real time.
I don't know her. The stock market, I don't know her. Ignore.
Yeah, but I just think more honesty and transparency is like very important. And I don't know, you've inspired me, Aleks. So I think thank you for that.
I will say, if you do share, I will be the first one to watch. Okay, so you see, like people are nosy. I want to know. Okay,
I'm nosy too. I want to know.
Yes,
Right.
I want to know this information. I will say, I do think because you have already created a platform, not based on that. You have, I don't want to say more to lose, but you have way more thought behind it, and you're thinking, what will my audience think about this when I've never talked about it? Will they judge me? But because I started fully as an open book, I find that in the opposite way, I cannot stop sharing now. And I've even scaled back. I'm not sure if you've seen some of the videos, but I have said that with my business income, I don't share it monthly anymore. I do quarter income videos. And this is in a way to protect also all of the brand deals that I have done, because I know people are nosy and they will put two and two together. They will see how much I made this month. They will go back to the other videos
I
and
see what
see,
you're saying. Yeah.
And so I feel like if I do quarterly, I'm in a way protecting the contracts, because in the contracts it states that you cannot
you can.
openly share. Yeah. So that's one workaway around it. And I know other financial creators who don't share the numbers, but they share a percentage. Like, what is their net worth comprised of percentage wise? Is that as juicy? No. But it's still like helpful. So
yeah, I know one creator she was actually who inspired me to pay off my own student loan debt years ago. And I don't know if you've heard of her, Asia Dang. She
maybe
paid off.
I see a video.
Yeah, she's a YouTuber. She's also fairly big on TikTok, but she paid off over $200,000 of debt in like 3 years or something like that. And yeah, so I'm curious if you get this kind of like feedback, but she was sharing her income quite openly. And then because she got a lot of support, and I think it's very helpful to know, but I think there was almost so much pushback that she started switching to sharing her percentages too, because I think you get the people who are inspired, and then you get some people that might feel discouraged or like, oh, it's never going to happen for me. So how do you deal with that?
Completely understand this. I haven't switched to that. So I do expect if I do switch to something doing percentages, I will get pushback 100%. I totally can see this happening. And I will say that I am noticing a shift in my audience in general. Obviously, last year when I was doing all of the debt payoff, things were going viral every other week, right? Now that I'm not, things are not going viral. But I prefer that. I much prefer that, because I kind of worried that I would be a one-hit wonder type of situation where my videos were going viral because of my debt payoffs situation. And I was so anxious about how I would transition into a new style of content, which didn't revolve around debt payments, because now I don't have debt. Now I'm focused on other things, and I didn't know how that would go. And my channels are still fine. Everything is still growing, but it's definitely not these viral moments. So I go through like ups and downs as well. I have to really shift my focus of, oh, you know what? People really want specific content that's like viral, but actually that's not what I want to share anymore. And that's okay. It's okay to shift your content and go in a different direction. And I haven't had any negative feedback. There's people that do say, oh, I really wish you would do monthly updates on your business income. That's so interesting to me, but I just can't. So I just say no. And that's it. And you keep moving, because there will be new audiences that will find you. So that's also important and something to remember. You don't have to stay the same content forever.
Yeah, I think it's a really, as you kind of mentioned there, it's like about how do you cultivate now that you've grown to almost like where you want to be, or you've kind of done the viral content, you know what works, but now it's about cultivating your own community and nurturing the community. So it's like, yeah, consistency is probably the thing that holds you more as a creator than those peaks and valleys.
100%. And
Yeah.
I am very middle ground and very balanced in a lot of my opinions when it comes to money, especially with, frugality versus extreme spending. I'm very much in the middle, and those things are not interesting to people. They're not going to go viral, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure you follow some viral content or some content creators who do a lot of rage baiting, and they're very much in the content of like, this is extreme on both ends.
Yeah.
And I'm just not that type of person, and I don't want to rage bait because I know that's going to backfire eventually. All of those creators eventually have their downfall, and I don't want to be in that space at all.
Yeah, I think balance is definitely key.
But I will say you have inspired me to move into YouTube because I know the way
Yay.
no the way I see content creators is TikTok is where people find you because you can easily find people there. Videos can go viral easily. Instagram is a place where people really like you. They will continue to watch your videos. They will follow you. So they're a little more focused on you as a person. And YouTube is where long-term content creators live. Like I know everybody's name on YouTube. I don't know everybody's name on TikTok, even though I know their
Yeah.
face. And I think if you want to do this as a career, you have to go to YouTube.
I think long form is king. What do you think, Alyssa?
Yeah, I love long form, but I think it's just because I talk so much and I'm not very good at putting things into 30-second sound bites. Like I can't. I talk too much. I'm the worst. Just put it out there.
No, that's good. That's good because I try to do YouTube videos and I will blab for what feels like an eternity, and then it's a 7-minute video. And I'm like, what is going on?
That's
Like, why?
short.
I know. I'm like, I felt like I just talked for 75 minutes. Why is it only a 7-minute video? So I have to do the opposite because I'm so used to doing short form. I need to switch into long form.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think with the kind of like I love short form, and it's great when you want that like bite-sized content, but I do think that actually I think people are craving long form. I think they're craving to slow down, like with for example, like watch time on TV for YouTube is outpacing Netflix right now. So I think there's this craving for like a comfort, like for your favorite creator, and just to kind of sit back and like you watch them on the couch on a Sunday morning, or you're on the treadmill. But there's just like I think we just want more slow absorbable content, slow fashion, slow content.
Well, that's what's so funny is like I always found it difficult to even consume the short form content because
it's
so
fascinating.
fast.
Yeah.
It's too fast. It's like there isn't enough time for me to reflect and absorb. So I always found it difficult, but it's so entertaining. Like I watch short form content creators, and I just think you're genius. There's creative genius in that because you have to take a very complex concept and make it not only entertaining and engaging, but you also have to distill that concept into 30 seconds. It's fascinating to me.
It's definitely not easy, right?
No.
I completely agree. And I have noticed myself actually getting more anxious when I watch short form content. I don't know if you feel this way, but kind of stressed, anxious, just because you are scrolling through 100 different topics at one time within 10 minutes, and your brain becomes so filled with so many different concepts and ideas that it cannot process it. And so I really try to stop myself from watching TikTok. Whenever I open the TikTok app, I'm like, okay, now you're forced to watch a full YouTube video because I have to like slow down my brain and, just processing the information and understanding just one topic. That's it. But I fear what will happen with the next generation and their brains. I'm not even like exaggerating here. To me, I'm in my 30s and I catch myself like getting so wrapped up in it that I can't imagine being a teenager and living in that world. It's so wild to me.
I know. It's yeah. I'm almost 40 and like my brain is gonna like every time I'm on it, I'm like, oh, let's just like look at some fun cat videos. And then after it's like, oh my God, my brain is like melted. It's like I just
Yeah.
can't.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely agreed. Oh, I don't know. We shall see. I guess we shall see.
I'm almost curious about, there were a few things that you said, Alex, when you were talking about how as you were growing and you were making more money, that you still seem to have a very grounded and centered approach in that I could lose everything, but money doesn't define me. It's not part of your identity. And I think this is something that I find amazing because in the world we live in, it's so easy to equate worth and success and all of these things with how much you make. So how has this, how did you even develop this mindset? Is it something you always had? And how has it helped you navigate your finances in the way you did and pay off your debt? And
Totally. I will say probably the biggest influence has been the fact that I traveled so much. In my 20s, I lived in Asia and I lived in Vietnam and South Korea for an extended period of time. And during that
Wow.
time, I was an English teacher. I kind of had an identity crisis at 24. Uh,
quarter
and
life crisis, it happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
jumped on a plane and I was like, I'm going to go to South Korea and teach English. Let's go. And that's what I did. But while I was there, I traveled all over Southeast Asia. And just seeing how different people live was so fascinating and so eye opening to me that there were people that lived in extreme poverty, first of all. There was also people who have way less than we ever will have and are incredibly happy. So I saw that side as well. I also saw so many different cultures, and those are the things that actually made me happy. And it was never the stuff I had. And because I was, I guess, a nomad, I really had fairly few amount of things with me at all times for years. And that really showed me that I don't need half the stuff we think we need, actually. And so that had a huge impact. And then when I moved to Bulgaria, because I wanted to fix my Bulgarian, I was losing like kind of touch with my culture and also the language. I stayed there for a very long time, for 6, 7 years, because I met my husband. But also living in Bulgaria, people earn a salary of like 800 leva, 1,000 leva, which is about $500 a month, and that's a good salary, or that's a normal salary there. And you just see how they live, and they live fine. And they live fine. Okay. They live with their families, they have friends,
Mhm.
and they go to cafes once in a while, but they make way less than people in the US, but they have also way less stuff. And ultimately, through all those experiences, I saw I can accumulate so many things if I want, but that is not going to make me happy, because at the end of the day, all I think about is I just want to go visit my family. I just want to go see my friends. I just want to go see my sister. And to me, money is the options to be able to do that, the options to leave your full time job, the option to, go get a medical procedure you need, the option to go visit your family whenever you want. And that's what I want to use my money for. I could care less about buying the next thing, because I don't need more things. I just don't need them. In fact, because I am on some PR lists now and I get packages, I get anxious because I have so much stuff, like 50 blushes. I'm like, who needs 50 blushes? I do not need 50 blushes. So I create like a
It's a
box.
lot. Yeah.
It's so much. And
It's
and
so
the
much.
packaging, and I'm just, oh, it's wild. It's wild. So I think those things really help me just focus on what's important to me. And also the fact that, I'm starting social media in my 30s. I feel like I already have these values in me. So I feel like if you started when you're young, you can really get wrapped up in it. So that definitely helped.
Great point.
Yeah,
You're like already coming into it with your own core values. They're not being shaped by others. That's really smart. Love that.
totally.
Hmm.
And I don't know, sometimes the things in the US that kind of surprised me is just how much focus there is on shopping in general. And I think it's because not to get so deep, but I think people are lonely in general.
Yeah.
People are lonely. They don't have friends that are nearby. Not that they don't have friends. I'm sure they have close uh, friends that they grew up with, but they all live so far away. But they don't see them day to day, face to face, and they don't have hobbies because sometimes hobbies are expensive. Sometimes they're far away. They don't have the time. And so the easiest dopamine hit is let's go shopping. And
Yeah.
that is so normalized. It's so normalized. And also the convenience of it makes it so easy. Like Amazon, oh my, next day delivery. What in
I
Bulgaria,
know.
first of all, you never order anything online because it will never arrive. Okay, one. You cannot return things. Like it's literally impossible to return things unless it's some big store, like a name brand store that everybody knows, and you have very strict rules on what you can return. And here it's just too easy. It's too easy. I feel like so.
Yeah. There's no friction to it. And I agree with the point of loneliness, and I'm going to add on to that as boredom as well. And I
Yes.
think we're so anxious and we just have all this energy that we need to put somewhere that I think, yeah, in like at least in North America, shopping is where we put that energy. And I agree. It's from I think a lot of us are overworked because the cost of living is so high. And it's like, okay, I'm at work all day and then I have to go home and take care of my kids, or I have all these other things that I need to do. Now I need to go and take care of my household. It's like for that little bit of downtime that I have, I'm just going to like release this energy and go buy something because now I have something to look forward to, or it makes me feel like I did something, I like accomplished something more today or something. That's fascinating that you can't return things. I feel like the return policy thing is like maybe that's what makes it so much easier to buy things, because it's like, oh, if it doesn't work out, I'll just return it. Like the stakes are so low that, it's not, the money spent is not a big deal.
Yes, and people fall into the trap of I will buy this, I will try it, and if I don't like it, I will return it, but they never return it. They just keep it
Yeah.
in their home. They put it in a closet and forget about it. But yes, in Bulgaria, it's incredibly hard to return things. And so the people, first of all, they don't have extra money to spend on things. Second, I find that most of them are busy with their families, friends. They're actually focused on activities, being around town, as opposed to shopping. And then, yeah, the returning things, you have to be just very careful with what you buy. And the Western culture is definitely kind of coming into effect there as well. So it is shifting things for the younger generation. But for people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they're just very careful about how they spend money.
So what do you spend money on now? What are some, I think we kind of like leaned into the conversation of experiences over things. Life experience can help shape what you value spending your money on. And I think you are a great advocate in sharing the idea that money can be used as a tool. And like you talked about earlier, you don't live at any extreme. You're not extremely frugal, but you don't live extremely extravagantly either. So what what is worth the money to you
Yeah.
in a balanced way?
Well, first of all, gym memberships to us are very
Yeah.
important. My husband and I take boxing classes, and we have a gym that has actually done so much more than just positivity for our health. It has also introduced new friends to us. We have created a community there, which is so, so important for us being new here. So that, and it's not, in cheap, I want to say. It's about two, for both of us, it's $200 each for both of us to go to the gym. So totally worth it to us. Other things that I'm finding myself investing in is technology because of content creation. So I do upgrade things that are going to help me work faster and smarter, that are going to help my business. So I totally see value in investing in that. Um, Clothes, not so much. It's not something that I really focus on. I do have, I like to buy pieces from stores that I trust. So it's not something that I splurge on. Like designer things are not my thing. Um, we do want to travel more this year. Like next year, we want to go to South Korea and Japan with my husband. So those are the things that I want to spend money on. And of course, going to Bulgaria. And this year, when we go for 3 weeks, I just want to pay for everything. Like,
Yeah.
any time we go to dinner with my family, I will be paying for it. My dad is having his 60th birthday. I want to pay for the whole party. Like, those are the things I want to take care of. And those are the things that are going to make me happy. Everything else is just meh. Meh.
I
I
get
love
that.
that.
The generosity piece is always nice when you can be generous with your
Yeah.
friends and family.
Well, it's kind of funny because my parents still don't know I do social media.
They do.
They don't? Wait, can
They
you
don't have
tell us
TikTok?
why you haven't told, have you told them you quit
Oh
your
my
job? Like
gosh.
what?
No,
Okay,
no.
can you tell us why? Or if that's
Yeah.
not too much to, if that's not too
No,
personal?
no. So when I obviously started TikTok, I had no expectations of anything happening. Like it just kind of all unfolded. I ended up telling my sister. She loves it. She watches everything that I do. But with my parents, they're immigrants. Okay, they came to the U.S. They're very much like go to university, get a
Become a
corporate
doctor.
job. Well, yes, well, we shot that long time ago. We're like, we're not becoming a doctor and engineer, okay? But corporate job is
Yeah.
like the pinnacle for them, and then get a house, and that's like wow. And so I just don't know how I would explain social media to them. So that's the thing that really has stopped me. I worked at a bank up until, last week for a very prestigious bank, I guess we could say. And they were just like so proud. They think it's wow, our daughter works at a bank in America. It sounds
Mhm.
silly, but that's how they view it. And so with social media now, I'm like, what do I say to them? How do I explain this to them? Ultimately, like it's not that I'm hiding it from them that their opinion will affect my decisions because I'm an adult. It's not going to affect what I do moving forward. I don't take their opinions in that way. I'm just trying to figure out how to explain it to them that they would understand it. Because telling your parents, oh, I want to do social media, they're going to think all of the things, if you
Yeah.
know what I mean. So
Yeah, I can definitely relate having Ukrainian parents as well. So
okay,
it's,
what did your parents say? Are they still
you know what?
confused?
I think they support it. They check in on me often, like how's it going? And because same kind of thing, like going from pharmacist, mainly full-time pharmacist to now mainly full-time content creator, it's very risky. And I think the mindset is like why the corporate job or why being a doctor or an engineer is so revered, especially in that kind of, I could definitely relate like the kind of more immigrant household parent mindset is they just want to keep you safe. They want you to be
Yes.
secure. They want you to have a better life than they did. They don't want you to worry and they don't want you to struggle. And so a corporate job is something that's much safer. And I think, like, I still think, even though my parents know what I do and they like check in on what I do, I think in a way they still think that I'm like dancing on the internet. You know what I mean? Like what everyone thinks that
Yeah.
TikTok was like 5-6 years ago. Or even like my sister, she's an animator and she was always great at art. This is kind of like a little bit of a tangent, but like, for example, like my grandfather, my Dido, he thought that her being an artist is like, oh, she's drawing pictures of like sidewalk chalk and like selling her art on the side of the
Yep.
road,
Yes.
not
Yes.
creating like, not like having like a quote unquote like real job, that actually supports her. So I think it's just kind of like what they just don't understand that that it could be more unstable, but I think they don't understand the potential behind it.
Do you share financial information with them? It maybe just like on the broader scale. Do you think that would help?
Um, I do, but at the same time, it's almost like sometimes I wish I hadn't. I don't
Oh,
know. It's
yeah.
sometimes I think it's like when I share it, it's almost like, look how much I made. I'm safe,
Mm,
and I just don't know if it's taken. It's again, see, money's taboo. It's taboo. It's a little bit, yeah.
yeah. I can totally see that. For me, I think it would help because my parents, or my dad specifically, he is a business mindset person. He used to have a trucking company in the US. They made really good money. They set themselves up and then they moved to Bulgaria. Like they closed everything before COVID and they just moved to Bulgaria, retired, and they're done. So he does understand business and how important it is. But for him, the number one thing that matters is finances. And if you're making good money, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're making good money. So I feel like they would be incredibly curious why I'm doing this. And I know they will ask. And that's when I really have to have this conversation with them about finances and what
Yeah.
is happening. So we shall see how that will go.
You got to
I've,
show
de-
up with receipts.
I've debated, like um recording it and just having it for myself because I think it's going to be so funny. But it could totally backfire. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking now when we go to Bulgaria in June, to tell them. Even my sister every day is like, "Are you going to tell mom and dad what's going on? What's going on?" I think you need to tell them at this point. So we shall see.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I think either way, like, you, because I don't know, I think it's almost, I still feel like I'm a teenager sometimes. Like I still almost feel like I need to ask my parents permission for certain things, even though like I'm a grown adult and it's my life. So I feel like maybe there's like a little bit of that too sometimes, where it's like, oh, I just need their stamp of approval or like almost their permission to be like, I'm a content creator now. This is what I'm doing full time. But it's like, yeah, we're grown ass.
Yes. I'm either whatever their opinion is, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do whatever I want. To me, it's more like I want them to not worry, and I want them to just approve of it. It's just say, you know what, this is a good decision. However, also we need to remember that our parents are immigrants and they are of a certain age, and I have just accepted the fact that they will never be able to express themselves the way I want them to express themselves. They will always speak surface level, and they might say things that they don't genuinely mean because they don't know how to express what they actually want to say. So I've just accepted that. And so whatever they say, I'm going to not take it to heart, but it will be
Yeah.
funny. It will be
But
funny.
yeah, it'll, and I'm sure it'll be like a nice, just like off your shoulders, and I feel like that's something that's helpful and cathartic in itself. Thank you for sharing that. Wow, that we got a little deep here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, and to me, it's like when people say, how do you feel about sharing your personal life? To me, the only personal stuff that I would not share is sharing information about other people. So, for example, there are situations like things that are deeply my parents' situations or my husband's or my sister's. That to me is personal. Everything that for me in my life, I'm like, is it really that personal? We're all human. To me, I I despise small talk. I can't do it. I don't know if it's the European in me, the Balkan in me. I don't know what it is, but I cannot talk about the weather. I need to know your like personal situations, what scares you, what makes you happy. Like these are the things I want to talk about because
We go
everything else,
deep.
yeah, everything else is just like, okay, if I want that, I can just watch the news. So
I agree. Give some color to our interactions.
yeah. And another thing that people really ask me about, and I know this is going to be juicy, and this is why I'm going to say it, but about my husband and I, because I am the breadwinner, I get so many questions about this. And I find it so fascinating hearing the opinions that people have in the US. It's so polarizing again. There's no middle ground. It's like you either need to go in the trad wife direction or you need to be a boss babe and like own it. There's no middle ground. And I find it so funny. And that's like the one conversation that I feel like I don't know how to express properly to people in a short form video. For example, I know people are always going to take it wrong. So I kind of stay away from going too deep into it, but I will on YouTube for sure.
Like,
For sure.
subscribe. Are you going to be at Aleks on a Budget on YouTube as well?
Yes. Yes.
A
Yes.
Yeah, you have some
Yes.
videos up now, right?
I
Yeah.
do, but I stopped. I started last month and I posted a few videos and I was just like, oh my God, this is a beast. I was not prepared for this. This is too much. It's so
YouTube is a
much.
beast. Yeah,
It
it is.
no,
Alyssa and I were just talking about it before you came on too. It's just like the weekly upload is tough.
no. When you said you did a spring cleaning video, I was like, oh God. I immediately thought the amount of hours and the amount of like rage she probably had to go through to do this video. Because cleaning and filming, it's like the worst. Put them together, no. Mm-mm.
Alyssa, what just happened to you? Didn't you have a filming hiccup this week too?
Wait, did I? Wait, yes. I
You
mean, I
filmed
feel
for
like I
two
always
hours
have
without your
them.
mic on.
Oh my God, yes, yes, sorry, yeah, that was last week. Oh my God, yes, yeah, 2 hours. And like, it's been so difficult for whatever reason to like get into sort of a flow. And I had my mic plugged in, but it had a different dongle. It was the dongle that I used for these podcasts. And I was like I was, like when you don't have to
La la
even
la,
retake, like I was like, it, I'm doing so well. I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna like watch the playback. Like I'm on a roll. Let's go. And then
No,
no sound, no sound. And it wasn't even B-roll that I could have been like, I'll just do a voiceover. It's fine. Like
the
yes,
worst.
sorry. I blocked that out of my brain. Sorry.
No, when
Cringe.
that happens to me for like a 30-second video, I get so enraged. I can't imagine a YouTube video. No. But I've
It was
actually given
two. I filmed A-roll for 2 videos actually.
Damn.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah. Content creation, we're very lucky to do what we do. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's hard, but it's challenging in its own ways. Can
You know
you,
what?
what are you anticipating for that? Coming from corporate where there are certain challenges there to a more creative, uh, role in your life. Like how are you preparing for some of those challenges?
I will say, I think it can be hard, and I think it's okay to say that it is hard because you do so many roles when you're a content creator. You are the writer, you are the actor or the actress, you are the editor, you are the producer, you are literally everything in every role, and everything falls on you. And then on top of that, you have to take criticism about every single thing that you post. Even though you've
Mhm.
just put in hours of work into a video, then you have to sit and open the comment section, and people are just like ripping you to shreds, like about the smallest thing that you didn't even think about because you were so focused on this video that you were creating. So I think it
Yeah.
is hard work. The difference is because you love it and because you have so much fun doing it. For people who do really enjoy content, it doesn't feel like it. It does not feel like work. And this is why I think it's okay to say it is hard work, but also it's so worth it. Like, so worth it. And that's what's really missing in a lot of corporate jobs, 9 to 5 jobs. It's hard work, but also you don't like it. And so you have these two really negative things. And so this is
Yeah.
why people get upset at content creators when they say, my job is really hard. Like, what are you talking about? How is your job hard? You're doing something you love. It can be hard and you can still love it. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Two things can be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
For challenges, you know what the challenge is going to be? Not working all the time for me.
I
Yeah.
think that's still our challenge also. I'm speaking for both Christina and I
Yeah.
maybe. I
Yes.
don't know. I
Yes.
feel like it is.
My husband says every single day, he's like, okay, today's the day we need to sit down and think of the schedule because we are working 24/7. It's like, we need to have a schedule of when you'll be filming YouTube videos, when I'll be editing them, when you'll be uploading. We need to have a content calendar with your ideas of what's upcoming because up until now, no, literally everything's day to day. This is
Yeah.
how I've been doing things. And it's because, I was working my full-time job. And so that's going to be the biggest challenge, is coming up with a schedule that actually is going to set me up in a way that I can not work 24/7. Because I've never had to do that until now.
Yeah. And when you work for yourself, it's like, yeah, it's harder to pull yourself away from it sometimes. But I will
Mhm.
say that's something that I've struggled with because I went I'm not full-time, like technically I'm not full-time. I still work at the pharmacy about 1 to 2 days a week to maintain my license. So I still have a toe in there, but you know, before when I was working full-time, it's like any downtime you had, you work on your content, on your business, and it's almost like that lack of time and that sense of urgency is what almost helped me get things done. But it's like, no, I like reduced the amount of work, or even you, Alex, like left corporate because this is burning out. You can't do both.
No,
You
no way.
need that rest.
No way.
So having that content calendar and that downtime, like it's very, very hard. And I still struggle with it 2 years later, but it's like, oh man, no, you need it.
I can completely see myself going down the direction of just hating everything. And so this is why I had to leave corporate. And then also now I need to think of a schedule. But I do really want to emphasize that I didn't just leave corporate and I'm going to be a full-time content creator. I really want to stress to people that I put some serious thought and effort into it and some serious planning behind it. So we had an emergency fund saved already, 1 year emergency fund away. On top of that, we saved specifically for me to be able to do this year. In case something happens, even extra money on top of that. So that is what allowed me to really say, okay, I can do this. Also, I was not happy at my job that I was, the corporation that I was at. I was not happy there. And also, I was not happy with my role and I wanted to transition into a different role. So it was all of these things combined and the love for content that made me leave this job. And I say this because a lot of people, I know the videos of I quit my corporate job with no backup plan are very trendy. And please don't do that. Please do not do that. Like that is, especially right now, that is probably like the worst thing you can possibly do. And I think it's important to stress this because people listen to other people online and they think that they can do it as well. But there was a lot of planning that went into this and a lot of plan Bs, C, and so on. So, you know, for people do want to do content creation, please have some type of data behind you in terms of you're already making money. You're already making money that can sustain you before you actually jump. Because then you'll be really stressed if you don't. So
yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
I
that
think there's
preparation.
also, oh, sorry, go ahead. No,
Oh, I was just saying, go ahead, Elizabeth. No,
no,
sorry.
you go ahead. The preparation's
Oh, I
important.
was just saying, yeah, I was just like, preparation is key and like having your backup plan. I think sometimes it can feel like, oh, if I have a backup plan, then it means I don't truly believe in what I'm doing and like the universe isn't really going to give me what I need. But I think, that's to me, it's always like, what am I going to do to keep myself safe? And like in my mind, this is what success looks like. But if it doesn't work out exactly the way I want, I'm not scrambling to pivot.
I think I was going to say something similar in that I think having the parachute and the backup plan and whatever extra funds also allows you to stay true to your values and you won't have to take any contracts and compromise yourself because you just need the money, which I think in this world of content creation that we're entering into is really, really important because it's so easy
That's
to
such
just
a great
take
point.
whatever comes, like you can actually build a values-based business when you have that backup.
Agreed. I will say also the fact that I have dabbled into so many different parts of content creation, so digital products, but also earning money from social media and doing brand deals. You see how many different opportunities there are, and you can easily take every single one, and not all of them are the correct ones to do. And I'm even still going through this and trying to learn, okay, this is something I didn't like. I'm not going to do this next time. This is something that I really enjoyed. I really want to do this more of next year. So it's kind of a process, but yes, I don't know. It makes me nervous when I see those videos of like I quit my job with no backup plan. Like I can't. I'm a type A person. I can't do this.
Type A girly.
Yeah, you're giving me anxiety. Why?
I think you bring up such a good point too, Alyssa, about the value-based business, and like there's so much that gets turned down that you don't see, right? I think when
So
you're a
much.
creator, ultimately, like you're creating content that you love to make, but you're also creating content for your community and your audience. And it's like almost, we are also like, we have to be the gatekeeper of that. We don't want you to we don't want to just push out anything to you. And it's like, if we were just in it to make money or just like completely financially motivated by it, it's like, then, there's so much that you could take, but there's just a lot that does not align.
You I can easily spot a content creator who does this for money and a content creator who does this because they love it from a mile away.
Mhm.
It's so easy to spot that. And I like to think the audience is getting smarter with this and they're catching on to it as well. And it, it's important that people support creators who are actually doing this because they love it and who are going to show them products that they genuinely love.
Mhm.
And I know it's kind of difficult when you're not doing content creation to understand all of the back end stuff, but there's a lot that people promote that they've been paid some good money to say. Uh, And I don't think the audience understands this because the videos that I see that are an obvious push of a product and I read the comments and I'm just shocked every single time. And I wish there was more transparency again, even about brands and brand deals. I love
Mhm.
that slowly things are shifting. I've started also talking a lot about it because these brands, they're also a little sneaky. They're sneaky. They try to, push things that are not really ethical, that are not good for people. And I'm just shocked that some creators are taking deals like that. So I think we also need to talk about that, just like we talk about salary transparency in the corporate world. Creators need to talk about brands as well. It's so
Yeah.
taboo. I actually think it's more taboo to talk about brands because it's such public information, and you're afraid that if you say something about one brand, you might, completely
You
cut
lose
off your
them
chance.
forever.
You
Yeah.
lose that
Yeah.
forever.
It's hard
And
to, yeah.
you don't know who they're connected to, so you don't know if they're also going to blacklist you. I guess I don't even know if that exists, but yeah, so much.
So interesting. We'll have to have you come back on in like a year
Yes,
and do a little update. Like,
Yeah.
how has it been? And
yes.
how have your views changed?
I'm so fascinated by content creation in general right now, and I do talk a lot more about it and just setting up my business as well. There's so much that goes behind it that, again, I just haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, or maybe my algorithm is not showing me those type of videos. But there's so much that goes behind the scenes for a content creator, and it's not talked about enough. I feel like if people talked about it more, then the audience would stop saying that it's not hard work.
Hmm.
But maybe that's wishful thinking. I don't know. We shall see.
Hmm. We'll see.
Well,
Maybe you'll
Aleks,
change it. Maybe you'll change the
yeah,
conversation.
this was such a good conversation.
So
We
good.
have, okay, I want to ask you one more question before we
Okay.
get into rapid fire, if you have time. What is the one thing you're most excited about moving into this year as a full-time creator?
I'm most excited to have the flexibility to experiment. I'm most excited to just have to own my time. And I'm excited about the potential because up until now, I haven't had this type of potential looking at me. And I don't even know what that potential is yet because I haven't gone there. But I am so excited about that because I know that with content, you can actually have so many opportunities. And I'm so excited about that. Like, I don't know what they will be, but I believe they will be really, really good. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Love
Love
it.
it. I'm excited for
That's so
you.
positive. It's great. So good. It's the best attitude.
Do you want to shoot off
Yeah.
the rapid fire
Do
question?
you or do
So,
you?
yeah.
Or what do we?
No, no, go ahead. So,
Okay.
Aleks, every time we
Okay.
have a guest, we like to ask just kind of some rapid fire questions. They're a little bit random, but they do help our audience get to know you a little bit more. This is kind of just like just a quick whatever comes to mind, maybe tweetable answer.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
think too hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
First, like your first instinct that comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay. When you take vacation, is that a save or a spend?
Spend and save.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I feel like, because we talked about so much of the experiences,
Yes. I will spend on the experiences there, but I will save on the flights and just the things I have to get through. But I
Okay.
will spend on whether it's the hotel, experiences, all of that stuff.
Okay, cool.
I
That's
love that.
great. Great answer. A book that changed your life.
Oh, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi.
We love Ramit.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That is one of the first financial books I read, and it's just so practical, and it gives you step-by-step instructions, which I like.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I know Christina's mentioned him a lot. Digital or paper agenda?
Digital calendar, paper for notes.
Okay, perfect. That's cool. I do the same. Favorite meal of the day?
Breakfast, and it's always high protein. Always.
Love it.
Yes.
Get those gains, girly.
Great.
I love your food videos, by the way. Like, I feel like you guys, Aleks does everything on her channel, honestly.
know.
We talked a lot about money. We talked a lot about corporate, but she does like what I eat in a day. She does makeup. She does outfits. Like, you do the whole, you're a lifestyle
It's amazing.
comfort creator, girly.
It's all over the place.
It's great. No, it's true, because I was looking and I was like, oh, okay, like recipes too. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Very, very cool. Your top 3 wardrobe staples.
Jeans, white tee, and a cardigan. I know it's not very specific, but
That's great.
if you just swap those out in different colors, you can make the whole outfit. Done.
Easy. We love a
Easy.
layer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Favorite platform to engage with?
TikTok. Oh,
Okay. That's great.
TikTok. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where can our listeners find you?
TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. It's all Aleks on a Budget across all 3 platforms.
Beautiful. And we'll make sure to link all of those in our show notes. Aleks,
Love
thank you so much. This was fantastic.
That was so good.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say that I have followed you, or Christina specifically, even when I was in Bulgaria. I was like, this girl, I love her YouTube. And so when I found out you follow me, Christina, I was just, me? Me?
Thank you
Girl
so much.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
On
and I
both
think it's really
sides.
cool. I love how it's kind of online is a very small world, because the same thing happened with me and Alyssa. Like, I was following Alyssa for years, and and then I was like, hey, want to like
It was so
be
fun.
friends? And now here we are.
So cool. Yeah.
That's
It's
going to be
cool.
You did that.
maybe the new way to meet friends. It's not going to be those friend dating apps. It's going to be start content creation and then meet girls who also do content creation. And that's how you make your friends.
Yeah, I think it's and I think like it's just nice to see the support there, like, because I feel like in this world it almost feels like everybody's competition, but I feel like really we're all kind of in the same boat, and there's so much that we can learn from each other. So I think
100%.
gotta support the team. Yeah.
100%.
All on that note,
Thank you so
this was
much,
so
Aleks.
fun. Thank you,
Thank you
Aleks.
guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining in our conversation this week. If you're enjoying the show, we'd love it if you subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple and leave us a rating and review. It's one of the best ways to support the Sustain This podcast at zero cost to you.
We're also a community-led podcast, so if you have any questions for us, topic requests, or even guests you want to hear from, please send us a DM on Instagram at sustainthis_podcast. We read all of our comments and look forward to hearing from you.
We hope you join us again next Tuesday, where we'll talk about so much more than clothes. Ciao!